About this, the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, well, he made headlines when he said that he would apologize to Donald Trump. He'd said some nasty things earlier. All right, now listen to what he actually said just yesterday on this network.
Of course, he's a racist. He has expressed being a racist. That's what we all see and we all perceive.
Okay, doesn't sound like an apology to me, Ashley.
Well, it wasn't one at all. He, of course, he dropped the F-bomb, as we knew when he was being interviewed by Maria Bartiromo. Doesn't really apologize for that either. He did put out an olive branch, if you like, to Donald Trump, saying, come on down to Mexico and we'll chat, realizing that Donald Trump is continuing to move forward in this election cycle. But he certainly doesn't seem to be very apologetic at all, calling Donald Trump a racist.
Anything to add to this?
One of the things that amazes me about Donald Trump at every turn is that he's brilliant at marketing, and I would not be surprised if he ends up eating a taco bowl with Vicente Fox in Mexico in a few weeks.
That's precisely the kind of thing that Donald Trump would do. Precisely. Go right at him.
Yep.
Speak freely, go right at him.
One thing that Vicente Fox said in that interview is that America needs to stand up and lead the world. And there I agree with him. And there it's something that I think that the next president's going to have to do.
But if we got different economic policies and we got 4% growth, we would lead the world out of a nasty-looking kind of recession.
Absolutely.
We would. All right. Now this. Well, we move quickly here. Hundreds protesting Hillary Clinton in East Los Angeles last night. In the crowds, Mexican flags in opposition to Hillary featured very prominently. Again, most of the demonstrators were pro-Bernie Sanders. Here's a question Cheryl can say. Do you think that Hillary could lose California in the primary, June the 7th, to Bernie Sanders?
No, I don't, because I think that Bernie Sanders supporters will not go to the polls. That is the problem. The group that he has appealed to, especially in California, the disruptors, if you will, are, 25 years old and under. And I don't think that they're actually going to go and vote. They probably didn't get on board to actually register for the primary and to be a part of the Democratic Party. So while his message resonates with those that want free college and free booze, it doesn't really work for those that are going to go and really look at who I want to be my president. Hillary takes California.
What do you think, Morgan?
I think one of the upsides of pot being legalized is some of these people don't actually go out and vote for socialists.
Wait. It's not legal in California.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm talking about the 25 and under crowd.
News, right?
That is news.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the whole paradigm has shifted. And I think if we talk about Republican versus Democrat, that is passé. Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders have both blown up the system. And even if Hillary comes out with the nomination, we are going to enter an entirely new paradigm going forward as it relates to Republicans and Democrats. It's almost passé, I think.
Fair point. Fair point. All right, staying on Hillary, there is another development in the email scandal, and it's this. The FBI has interviewed some of her closest aides, including longtime advisor Huma Abedin. Look, this is an incremental movement. This is an incremental development. But it seems, I've been saying this throughout the show, they're happening so thick and fast, it seems like the whole thing is coming to a head. We can't delay decision on this investigation much longer. What do you say?
I think every time we see one of these stories, it reminds me, even when people are confounded that voters are voting for Trump and for Sanders, it reminds me this is why. Because she's doing things that any of us, if we were in that position, we would not get the same treatment. So as you said, it's an incremental step forward. But I think the bigger story here to the American people is if your last name is Clinton or some other privileged name, do you get away with stuff that the average Joe would not?
You are a Republican, aren't you?
Slightly right, Attila. Just slightly.
No, you're not. Come on. All right, Ashley, what do you say?
Oh, well, this is an investigation that just won't go away. We keep getting new pieces of information. We know hundreds of FBI agents are on this. Very interesting. We know they've interviewed at least one of the aides, probably a lot more. One has gotten immunity. This is all coming to a head this month, I believe, and she has got to be worried. Of course, she's just dismissing it as she would, but I think there's going to be a very interesting decision that has going to be made here. It's political, but at the same time, what does the FBI
She's getting
do?
protected. She's protected. She will not be. This will not come down, in my opinion, before the election.
Hold on a second. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but if the FBI recommends not an investigation, but it recommends charges of indictment, and the White House says no, we're not going to do that.
She loses anyway.
She loses any. That's a huge scandal. People in the FBI will resign, and they will leak what they've got against her.
But the FBI is still under the current administration. You cannot discount them protecting each other and protecting her.
If they protect her like this, and the FBI says, yes, go ahead with this, then she loses. She loses anyway.
She does.
Well, this is why
I'm
her
not so
VP
sure
pick
everybody-
is so important, because that person could end up being president if she's indicted.
Coming right out of there with... That's interesting. I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Now this. The White House has admitted that we were kind of played by selling. They sold the Iran deal, meaning they admitted to using reporters and non-profits as public relations tools to sell the president's foreign policy, specifically with Iran. They essentially, this is a strong word, did the administration lie to the American people by using the media in this fashion, deliberately using them?
This is one of the most troubling stories I've read in a long time. As I've talked about on your show before, I spent a lot of time in the Middle East as the U.S. Treasury attaché pushing Iran sanctions. So seeing this in the paper, you know, it's the contempt that the Obama advisors, who were quoted on the record to the New York Times, the contempt that they had for the reporters and for the American people, saying we spun this story, we lied, we actually, they didn't say we lied, but if you look at it, they said that we actually negotiated the provisions in the Iran deal in 2012 instead of 2014. They had an utter contempt for spinning the American people and for spinning the media, and I think that part is what was so brazenly arrogant that was confounding to me.
It was, yeah. We were spun, were we not? All right. And that's it for the rapid fire. Thank you very much indeed, Morgan Ortega.
Thanks for
so
having
much.
me.
All right.